Hey everybody, it's Norm from Tested.com here at New York Comic Con 2017. Had to stop by to chat with Steve Neisen and a new friend, Mike
Salzo.
Mike Salzo. You guys are showcasing at the FX booth your studio scale Slave 1. Now sometimes, you're here showing off products you're selling. Sometimes it's personal projects. This is more toward the personal project side. Tell me about the making of this model.
Well, Norm, after seeing the models we do bring, years and years of research, lots of folks being involved, too many to name, but those that were involved in the Slave 1 know who they are, on the RPF, Facebook forums, the whole 9 yards. We were lucky enough to do a project for an entertainment park, and we got to develop this out to its fullest capability of finished model. So I tag team with Mike Salzo, the #1 model guy out there, to help us bring this to light, and this is what we came up with. So this is number 3 that have been made, so this is the 3rd one.
Wow, so it's scratch built. There is no kit. You guys make the kits essentially. How does a scratch build model of studio scale start? Do you have access to the original studio scale? What is the condition of that studio scale model?
Well, the Slave 1 has been a mystery a lot of years because it's been on tour overseas. So a lot of times you still have to rely on the reference that people have taken when it's been on display. Mm-hmm. You share information from folks that actually get, and then you start tracking down the parts. Well, anybody that's been studio scale as long as we have, we've amassed quite a bit of a kit collection. Yeah. And so you just start looking at the parts, tracking them down, creating a kit list, and then securing those kits, some being out of production, $1,000 kits. And then
I want to reinforce you out there. You're talking about old model kits that may be out of commission that were on the shelves at ILM when they were putting this stuff together.
Absolutely.
And you guys having put together other studio scale models, Y-Wing, ATST, they share a lot of those components.
Absolutely.
So you recognize them. It's all categorized in your head.
And we talked with the Star Destroyer, and just like the Slave 1, you could, when you know the parts, it kind of takes a little bit of the magic away, because now it doesn't look like a bunch of mechanical. It looks like a duster gun, or it looks like a Tamiya 700 airplane kit, or a ship kit, or something like that.
Universal Greebly here, tank model
absolutely.
kit there, yeah.
And this being an Empire Strikes Back kit is a whole new, another 3 or 4 years, Mike?
Yeah, we got the NTEX, that's the big one, right?
Yeah, the NTEX Porsche, which run how much?
If you're lucky, about $800.
About 800. If you can find it.
A box model kit, $800. Okay, you get the kit. You know that some of those pieces, ILM had a bunch of those. They have to be reused a bunch of times. Then you make molds and cast your own Greeblies. Is that right?
Right. And on this model, especially, you'll see with the pictures in the back or on here, they're doors to that Porsche kit. Well, they have to be cut before you can mold them. So here you're going to cut the roof off of a Porsche kit, and you're going to use the doors from that kit. So you've ruined
an $800 knife,
an $800 kit, yeah,
$1,200 kit.
But in the end, you've given birth to a one-of-a-kind studio model.
Right. So when you're making molds, because you said this is the 3rd one, so you have molds for the parts. How small do you want to compartmentalize it? How many total small parts? Like for a panel, you can make a big mold for a whole panel, but as a model kit builder, do you want to keep it to its smallest recognizable part?
Yeah, because of the way that everything's layered up, especially in the back, you can't really combine anything on a model like this. The back of that Slave 1 has layer after layer after layer of parts laid individually on top of each other. So each one of those little parts, for the most part, has to be separately cast. So I think probably 200-300 parts in the back, maybe, all individually cast, and that's on top of all the substructures and the body and the interior parts and everything else that goes into it.
Oh, I was curious about that. Yeah, what makes up an interior? Like, did the original model builders, to make this a film model, have to have armatures inside to be mountable for the motion control cameras?
Yeah, I mean, from what we can tell, the interior largely hides part of the, it's integrated into the part of the armature, but also hides the armature. When I built it for this one, we don't know exactly what ILM did, or well, we have a good idea what ILM did. We also had to make it a little bit differently to make it reproducible. In this case, I made most of the interior using the kit parts that ILM would have used, but also cutting the sides out of wrench shape, shaping the cowls, and making it so that it could all fit within this area.
Wow. You have lights in there.
Yep, there's some LEDs hidden underneath everything, and just fiber optic cable run up to the sidewalls. So
when you're building it, how true do you want to be to the way the glues, the paint of the original ILM models made it versus what's available today?
Well, for this, I painted it with Tamiya's. So one of the things that we try to replicate is how they were painted. And in this case, not only do you have multiple layers with the chipping and the different colors, I think if you add it up, we were talking about it the other night, there's probably, if you count all the grays in the back, there's 12, 13, 14 colors when you're all done. And they're all layered up in a way where you have the base coat, which is this lightest grayish green, and then the secondary green, and some of that's on the skirt, and then you got the pink, and then you got the whole reddish over that, and then you got dark yellows that are on some of these 8-rad parts, and on the engines are 2 different types of dark yellows. And then on top of that you got grime and weathering, and then on top of that you have misting of the base color that's over everything to dull everything down so it doesn't look toyish. And we try to replicate what ILM did to the best that we can, and we're always still experimenting. So
yeah, so in your head, is this complete, or when you build a 4th one, is it going to be more refinements? Oh, this.
I'll say that's going to depend whether or not reference comes out. So what's going to happen? It's going to come back from overseas, and we're going to get hundreds more photographs, or we're going to get access to the model itself once it comes back to the States. Then we're going to discover. Now there are folks out there that have done the what is it called
photogrammetry
of photographs. So they're trying to dial in the most perfect. We didn't have time, nor did we have that technology to do it when we made these skirts and the body. So I would say, as far as the only way we can make it better is have better access. As far as kit parts go, we're pretty close. I mean, we're 98% there. So I would just say, as far as body shape and things like that, we could probably tweak it a millimeter here and there.
I love that as perfectionists, you can look at this and say, here, it's not done. This could be improved, but as of 2017, right now, this is the best thing out there. It's such a gorgeous, gorgeous model.
And as far as the effects is concerned, I asked Brian if we could show it and just see what gauge interest in. And what we have found by doing a highly scientific survey, hey, do you like it? We got a thumbs up. Boba Fett ship, Slave One, is a very popular ship, and they don't want it smaller, they don't want it bigger, they want it this size.
Studio scale. That's right, that's awesome. Well, I hope EFX gets the opportunity to make this as a collector's item, but thank you guys for bringing it here and sharing it with us. It's amazing, it's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
It's great to see you again,
again,
Steve.
Yes, sir.